Hello, beautiful people. My name's Kristen. Thank you for tuning into my channel. Today, I have more unpopular opinions, and I really struggle with sometimes having unpopular opinions because, one, I'm going to say right off, you do not even need to leave me a comment saying, are you a writer? Could you do better? All those things. I get it. I'm not a writer. No, I could not do better. I'm not even pretending like I could. I respect the fact that millions, maybe millions is actually exaggerating, but thousands of people actually love these authors. Sometimes they're even favorite books. And that's the beautiful thing about reading, y'all. That's probably why you're tuning in to reviews and to book-ish videos, is that you're seeking out the ones that really stir your heart and passion. But these are ones that do not, and I am breaking up with these authors because this is now 2 books by each of these authors that I have read that have just missed the mark with me, and there are so many books and beautiful things to connect to. I believe we just don't need to waste our time, delving into the ones that don't work for us. So here they are, my unpopular opinions. So first off, I'm going to talk about Anthony Horowitz. So I just read, I think this is his newest one, Close to Death. And I really like this cover. It's got the pin with the arrow. So there actually is an arrow and a pin in this particular novel. I also read Magpie Murders, which I will also be talking about. These are all spoiler free. So if you are a fan or want to read these, or these sound intriguing, or you just like to read things that other people don't like, this is a safe video for you. So this book is, and I think this author in general, because both of the books I read by him and other books I've heard, he writes a lot about writers and bookish things, and he really likes doing things that are very interesting, which I totally am down. That's why I was so excited to get into this author. So in like Magpie Murders, for instance, it's a book within a book. So like there's a murder mystery surrounding a book publication author, and then we go and we read that author's book, and it's actually the whole book, which he writes murder mysteries. So there's a murder mystery, and then we kind of go back and pick up the fact, oh yeah, this is going on in the other reality, if you will, which is still fiction for us. So that alone, it makes it interesting. But that book did not work for me. The book within the book I actually thought was pretty good. The story that we were following I found very frustrating, unbelievable, and very predictable, and I'm not good at predicting. In fact, I will say in this one, I had what I thought was whodunit, and I was wrong. So it's not that he's always predictable, it's that, let me just say some of the things I appreciate about this one. So this one is set up within a neighborhood confine. It has to be someone within the neighborhood that, one person's died, one person had to have done it because of the circumstances around this death. It had to be somebody who was in the know of this very cliquish, small, close-knit neighborhood. And so it's almost, even though obviously it's not like an island or a steamship or a snowed-in lodge, it's kind of that premise of a lot of mysteries set up, right? The isolation. So it's that kind of situation. The way it starts is describing the neighborhood and the neighbors and their lives and how they meet one another and all this stuff. And it goes on for over 100 pages without anything actually really happening. And then the premise of this book is that there is an author who writes his novels based off of true crime. And so supposedly the neighborhood and somebody dying is the true crime that this author wants to use to write his next book and make his next big hit. And so he's talking to like the investigator and the person who was involved in actually solving the neighborhood crime. And so that's the setup of it. But even when those two people start talking, there's a discussion between the two where he's like, why would you just set up a neighborhood for like 100+ pages without anything happening? That would be really foolish and boring. And I was like, Yes, that's what just happened here. And I mean, it's very kind of that British humor in some ways, which I usually appreciate, that kind of dry humor, and I do, but I don't want to read 100 pages to get to the punchline, if that makes sense. And so I just feel like this particular author is not for me. However, this was a book that my mom had and loved, and my dad said that what they most appreciate about this author is actually a TV series that was created based off of a book that he wrote. So I do think actually I'm going to watch that TV series. I don't know what it's called. I'll have to look it up, but I bet I can Google research. But if you know, let me know. And, if you think I'm wrong for giving up on this author and you want to suggest another book that you think I should read, I'm open to that suggestion. I may or may not do it, but that would be interesting to know if I ever want to come across it, to try again. But for now, this author is just a miss for me. I just don't, it's not for me. So that's that. The other one is probably even more unpopular because I know for a fact that some people even have as an all-time favorite book, Amor Towles, A Gentleman in Moscow, which I read last year or maybe 2 years ago now, but I just did not get on with it. I understand he's a lovable character, but I just needed something to happen. And when I got to the end of the book, I was still like, I don't know what happened. I don't think anything did. And now I've read his book, The Lincoln Highway, which was a fairly successful book, I think 2 years ago now. And so it's been sitting on my TBR for quite some time. I decided, I'm just going to give him another shot. This one is more a journey, and things are kind of happening because it's a journey. So we're following 18-year-old Emmett, who has been released, served his time in kind of a juvenile detention situation. He's released or whatever. He's going to care for his young brother because his family is gone and he needs to start over again with his life. And so he's packing things up and going. And then a couple of his inmate friends have escaped and show up and kind of stir the pot. And we're following all of these characters and hearing their backstories and trying to get them wherever they're going to go in life. But the thing is, it still was very slow and teetering on the boring, like waiting for the next thing to happen. Like you kept teasing out that this journey was going to start, something was going to go down, and some things did happen, but it didn't progress the plot necessarily to me. So I just feel like this author's a no-go. And I know his other one, Rules of Civility, I think a couple of people had recommended that. But I'm ready to give up on this author. I'm ready for unpopular opinion. He's not for me. If you think I really should press on and read Rules of Civility or some other work of his, you can leave that below. I'll take that into consideration. But these two authors here, I'm just going to say, I'm not saying that they're not beautiful and well written and great for so many people. So if these things sound interesting to you, I totally encourage you to keep on checking them out. But for me, y'all, that just no. Just I cringe, I'm bored, I'm saying goodbye. Nothing against their work. I appreciate that. I really do. I could not write a book. Props to all those who do. But I do feel like, for my channel, I give honest reviews and honest feedback, and I try to do that in a kind way and honoring what they are doing. But that's just the truth. And that's what I got to be real about. And that's what I just got to be genuine. So I hope that you find the things, the books, and all things that bring you that joy, that bring you that smile, that bring you that hope, and just have happy reading. Take care. Like and subscribe if you want more of this. I'll see y'all later. Take care.